banana caramelada, or caramelized plantains in English, are very typical of Brazil because it represents both the banana and the sugar, which, although banana is typical of most of Latin America and the Caribbean, specifically in Brazil we have a lot of banana plantations and all sorts of bananas. You know, one thing that you go to the supermarket and you get 7 different kinds of bananas. You have apple bananas, and you have long bananas, and we have plantains, and we have all kinds of weird names that we give to bananas, just like oranges here that you can find too. And in terms of sugarcane plantations are also very typical, not only of Brazil, modern Brazil, but also of going back to, you know, the colonial periods and stuff. Now, it's also interesting that if you look at the sort of the origins of how you make it, depending on how you cook the plantains, it can also be traced back to Asia, because if you just deep fry it and then put sesame seeds in them, it's more of and caramelize them, of course, it's more of the Asian style, like Japanese style of doing caramelized plantains in the Brazilian style, which is usually in the oven with a little bit of cinnamon to give it that, you know, Brazilian spice. So it's interesting how you can combine both the migration aspect to it, because Brazil is the biggest, has the largest population of Japanese outside of Japan. So you can also incorporate that Asian aspect to it, as well as the traditional resources that Brazil has, which basically sugarcane and bananas in general. It's a dish that represents not only the colonial period, which goes back all the way to 1500s, but also to the early migration that has happened in the early 1900s. So it's a very diverse dish, you could say. And if you go to Brazil, although it used to be a lot more popular back in the 70s and 80s when people try to use more natural ways of making sweets, I guess, and, you know, just in general not industrialized sweets, you can still find it in most Japanese and Chinese restaurants. It's especially with ice cream. People usually put vanilla ice cream, and like I said, it's usually deep fried. You know, the hot and the cold going out together. But still, it's a pretty traditional family style dessert.